people who had abnormal relationships with family members. What's your story? Story 1. My brother is actually my father. Let that sink in. My mom groomed him from a very young age to be her perfect partner. I was born when he was about 17 and she was 35. I grew up believing he was just my older brother and that our dad had abandoned us. When I was 14, I walked in on them together. I demanded answers. Instead of lying, they sat me down and casually explained the whole truth. I felt so betrayed and disgusted that same night I packed a bag and left home for good. I'm 24 now and haven't spoken to either of them since. The only family I had is gone. Funny thing, my mom cut off her own family when she was young and never looked back. History repeats itself, I guess. Story 2. I'm the product of a father-daughter relationship. My biological mother died when I was a baby, so I was adopted, along with an older half-sister who had been abused. My adoptive parents are amazing. They already had 6 biological kids, all white, and desperately wanted a daughter. I always knew I was adopted because I'm not white. I didn't learn the full truth until my teens. I went through a phase of thinking I'm a monster before eventually accepting it. It's not something you want people to know, but it's also a huge part of you. Therapy felt weird, so I just bottled it up for years. I have a lot of health issues: scoliosis, degenerative disc disease, multiple surgeries, thyroid cysts, etc. Doctors say it's likely linked. I have a wonderful boyfriend now, former Marine with PTSD. I still haven't told him my origin story, but I will before we ever think about kids. Genetic counseling is non-negotiable for me, though adoption is also on the table. My adoptive family knows everything about my bio parents and has never once made me feel dirty or unwanted. I owe them my life. Story 3. The tragic accidental case shared in the support group. A woman in my pregnancy support group lost her baby in the most horrifying way. She met a British soldier stationed near our town. There's a military base. They hit it off, started dating, and she got pregnant. At 18 weeks, the ultrasound showed severe deformities. The baby was missing bones in the limbs. He died days after birth. Genetic testing revealed the boyfriend was actually her brother. Her mom had left her dad in a tiny English village before she was born, and neither knew the other existed. They both carried the same rare mutation that caused the baby's fatal condition. In 1 week, she lost her child and found out her partner was her sibling. She spiraled into heavy drug use afterward. Hearing her tell it made me physically sick. I felt pity and revulsion at the same time. It was pure tragedy, no one's fault, just devastating. Story 4. I work with 2 kids who are the result of direct family member relationships. Boy, uncle, niece. Severe microcephaly, cerebral palsy, extreme ADHD, and developmental delay. Almost a teenager, but functions at a 6-year-old level. He'll need lifelong care. Girl, full siblings. She's the only one of 4 kids with major issues: probable Marfan syndrome, extremely flexible joints, super long fingers/toes, legally blind, severe autism. But she's brilliant and catching up fast academically. We have high hopes for her. Honestly, the saddest kids I've ever cared for weren't these 2. They were the ones whose mothers drank or used hard drugs during pregnancy. Perfectly healthy babies ruined by preventable choices. Story 5. My parents were half-siblings. They got together as teens. I wasn't conceived until my mom was 28. While she was pregnant with me, my dad robbed a store and got 4 years in prison. 6 months after he got out, he fell deep into alcohol and we found him dead on the floor. 6 months later, my mom, surrounded by bad influences, abandoned me at a church and disappeared. She died the next day, drunk driving into a wall. My grandmother always claimed the mafia killed her as revenge for threatening to reveal the truth about my dad's death, but I think that was just her way of coping. I was raised by both sets of grandparents, normal, educated people with quiet lives. Despite my own mental health struggles, I'm trying to keep moving forward. Story 6. In my old neighborhood, there was a woman born from father-daughter incest. She had slowly progressing early onset dementia, diabetes, schizophrenia, severe hoarding, agoraphobia, you name it. Probably would have been diagnosed autistic today, too. She had 2 adult children, both in their 50s when I knew them, who were also severely mentally ill and intellectually disabled. The son was paranoid and abusive. The daughter hoarded like her mom. They all lived on disability in a house that looked normal from the outside. One day, police and health services raided it. Inside, mountains of trash, rotting animal corpses everywhere. They were forcibly removed. The mom ended up in a state nursing home. The adult kids vanished. My family were the only people who ever visited her in the home, just to give her some familiar faces and a little humanity. Story 7. I used to work at a private school for kids the public system couldn't handle. One girl I'll never forget, her grandfather was her father. She was 19 to 20, still in diapers, severe nonverbal autism, but the sweetest soul you'll ever meet. Academically, she was at a 2nd to 3rd grade level. On the last day of school, she cried because she didn't want summer break. She saw us as her only stability. Months later, I ran into her on the street. She remembered my name and gave me the biggest hug. Still brings tears to my eyes. Story 8. A classmate of mine, his mom is the product of incest. Despite everything, he's one of the kindest, most helpful kids I've ever met. He spends most of his day in the special ed room and is always eager to help teachers and other students. I ran into him at the movies once, and he was so excited to introduce me to his mom. She looked worn out and was missing most of her teeth, but she was genuinely one of the sweetest people I've ever talked to.